Are Africans for Africa, and how can we protect Africa from becoming food dependent?
Yes, Rasta. Currently, research has shown we are using over 40 billion Rasta for bringing food from abroad into Africa, Rasta. And it shows that statistics show that in about 2025 we'll be using over $100 billion Rasta to get food into Africa, which is sad because we have over 60% of the most fertile land in the world, Rasta, where us as Africa, with the yield, with possibilities of the yield we can do in farming, Rasta, we can feed the world, Rasta. But miscommunication with the leaders and everything go on, because food in Africa actually has had a very big part in, it's intimate in Africa, it's spiritual, where we have had cultures where they sacrifice food before they ingest it. We have also whereby in African culture, everywhere you go, personally, if you come to my house Nazizi, you have not visited me until you have something to eat. That's African.
Seen.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and it's sad because also remember when we last week on Stir It Up, we were talking about the resource curse.
Yes.
And we were talking about how some sectors start to fall behind and struggle. And sadly, in Africa, one of the sectors is agriculture. And right now, for example, in South Africa, they have less than 10%. Of what they're planting as organic seeds.
Yes, sir. GMO.
They're already dependent, on other countries to bring in food for them. So, in Africa, we need to protect our agriculture, our farming. And right now, they're actually making these hybrid seeds.
Yeah.
And they're cross-pollinating these hybrid seeds with the organic seeds and making synthetic strains. Yeah. Which means now these seeds are not going to be able to reproduce in the future. Once you buy this seed and you plant it, after that, you cannot use it again.
And on top of that, with the cross-pollination, it's killing the organic ones.
Exactly.
So simply, because these are the GMOs, actually, we are talking about. And, they are currently being tested in a lot of African states, South Africa, Zimbabwe being one of them. And they are having a very big issue because it in itself is an issue where we have had traditions in Africa passed down from one generation to another on how to make sure seeds are cultivated for and how they are planted to ensure that even in climate changes, as we are having issues in climate change at the moment, the seeds can survive
and can adapt.
Right. Yes, right, Rasta. But with everything happening, hybrid Rasta, basically they're weaponizing food, Rasta.
Yeah, man. And so that is what we're discussing on Stir It Up today.
Yeah, man.
We want to know, do you really think we can protect Africa from being food dependent? And if you think we can, what are the steps we should take? We'll be discussing more and more about African food colonization. And also remember, we were colonized as Africans through agreements made by African leaders or our African leaders and the Western world. And this is happening again in the food sector, where some African leaders in some countries, for example, Zimbabwe, are indirectly funding this whole GMOs and hybrid seeds, and we need to see how can we protect our countries from, from this food dependency issue. So we're on Stir It Up, and this is Vibes Radio. This show is called N Seckle with me, Nazizi, the original Roots daughter.
And Aya, Ras Riddick, aka Black Jesus